Hi, John. Thank you for your letter. I find the timing of this email to be curious since we have a board meeting scheduled for tomorrow. In your email, you painted a very vague picture, so allow me to fill it in for you. Since before Joni even married Doug, she's been threatening to throw us all out of Daystar if we didn't fully support her marriage. We have the recording where she said this, and Doug laughs, saying he wouldn't allow her to do that. In that meeting, Susie and I both clearly told Jimmy, Joni, and Doug that they have the free will to get married, but we stand on Matthew 19:9, and that since Doug's ex-wife Lisa had not cheated on him, getting remarried would be considered adultery. So we asked that they honor our stance. To show support for my mother in her decision, we attended her wedding because we love her. The decision is between her and God. A month after her wedding, she walked out the threats she had been making the whole year prior. On Ministry Now, my wife and I said we were not going to read a card because it went against our convictions when we kindly asked for it to be switched out for another viewer comment. However, Joni told the producer that we could read that or nothing, so we had no other option but to choose nothing. Instead of honoring our request, which we have spoken since day one, which is not to let her marriage interfere with our jobs, we were taken to her office where Joni ambushed us with a meeting with Jimmy Evans, where we were verbally abused, mocked, threatened, and told we'd be forced to do something which violated our consciences. Jimmy told us that we had no room to follow our convictions or consciences since Joni was the voice of God at Daystar. To taunt Susie, Joni even brought up the most painful thing in our lives, the molestation of our 5-year-old and another event that occurred on her family vacation a year prior in 2021. She blamed Susie, the grieving mother of the victim, for trying to destroy our family.
She was completely convinced. And by the way, I didn't tell Doug this story. I think you said that I did, but I haven't told him everything.
Wait, what?
So
I didn't say you told Doug that.
There was an instance where
I never said you told Doug that.
There was an issue with and I'm not going to tell you that because I know they wouldn't want me to share it, but Susie was completely convinced and Jonathan was completely convinced that was doing something that he absolutely was innocent of. And it was a terrible thing that happened in our family.
I must add that when we returned from the family vacation, Susie and I were told to submit and never talk about this again, and we did. We never talked about it.
Imagine working at a place where your job depends not on your performance, but on whether you approve of your boss's personal life. That's exactly what happened at Daystar, a network known for promoting faith and family values. But behind the scenes, a shocking power struggle unfolded. Before we dive into the details, make sure to like this video and subscribe so you don't miss any updates on this unfolding drama. At the heart of the controversy is Joni, a woman who didn't just expect support, she demanded it. Employees were put in an impossible situation, either endorse her marriage to Doug or risk their careers. This wasn't a mere preference, it was a non-negotiable requirement. The result? A work environment dominated by fear, where silence was safer than honesty and compliance was valued over conviction. It's a clear example of how power, when unchecked, can create a culture of control rather than community. Among those caught in this dilemma were Susie and Jonathan, two long-time, devoted employees. Their concerns weren't rooted in gossip or malice, but in deep spiritual conviction. Based on biblical teachings, they believed Doug's previous marriage, which didn't end due to infidelity, made his union with Joni unacceptable in the eyes of their faith. Despite their personal affection for Joni, they couldn't support something that clashed with their religious beliefs. This conflict between personal faith and workplace demands set the stage for an emotional and professional battle. Things took a dark turn when Joni, backed by Jimmy Evans, confronted Susie and Jonathan in a meeting that quickly spiraled into a full-blown attack. Instead of open dialogue, they were met with ridicule and harsh words. The meeting, which could have been an opportunity for understanding, became a platform for intimidation. Susie and Jonathan were humiliated in front of their peers, an experience that exposed the ugly reality of leadership wielded as a weapon rather than a guide. The situation escalated when Susie was asked to read a scripted statement on air, praising Doug. For her, this wasn't just a simple task, it was a test of her principles. When she refused, the consequences were swift. She was fired, her years of dedication dismissed in an instant. This wasn't just the loss of a job, it was a betrayal that sent a clear message. fall in line or face the consequences. Jonathan found himself facing the same fate. Joni made it crystal clear. Either he complied with her expectations, or his career at Daystar was over. The looming threat was inescapable, forcing him into a moral dilemma. Should he betray his beliefs to keep his job, or stand firm and risk everything? His situation reflects the greater issue at play: how some workplaces force employees to choose between their faith and their financial stability. As if professional pressure wasn't enough, Joni took things even further by bringing up painful moments from Susie's past, blaming her for family struggles. This deeply personal jab was designed to wound, turning a workplace dispute into an emotional assault. It was no longer just about job security. It became a battle against manipulation and psychological harm. Both Jonathan and Susie were soon stripped of their on-air roles, effectively erasing their presence from the network. This wasn't just about demotion, it was about punishment. Their removal sent a clear message to the rest of the staff. Disagreeing with leadership came at a high price. What was once a place they believed in had now become a toxic space where individual thought was suppressed. Joni's leadership left no room for differing opinions. Employees had two choices: obey without question or leave. This approach created an environment of fear rather than faith, where devotion to the company was valued over personal convictions. It's a chilling example of how leadership can become authoritarian when power goes unchecked. Despite everything, Jonathan expressed a willingness to mend relationships, but only if there was accountability and true repentance. His stance is a reminder that healing is possible, but only when people take responsibility for their actions. True reconciliation requires more than words. It demands genuine change. This situation at Daystar unveils a disturbing reality, where control, manipulation, and spiritual coercion overshadowed the very values the network claimed to uphold. It's a sobering lesson on the dangers of unchecked power and the cost of standing for what you believe in, even when it means losing everything. And this story is far from over. Stay tuned as we continue to uncover the layers of this shocking situation. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more updates.